Some exclusive NBC News reporting now. Nearly 10 months into the war in Ukraine, the Pentagon is now looking to boost the push to keep track of the weapons that the U.S. has provided to Ukraine. According to 3 senior U.S. officials, there are now talks about whether that could include sending a small number of additional U.S. troops to the country. The president was asked about this afternoon, whether more U.S. troops would be heading to the region. Here's what he had to say.
Are we sending troops to Ukraine? Yeah. No, we're sending material like we have, billions of dollars.
Of course, this comes against the backdrop of another potential political battle here, with the incoming Republican House majority already signaling that they might not be so psyched to provide more money, including any, and I'm quoting here, blank check to Ukraine. Joining us now is one of our own reporters who's behind that exclusive, NBC News Pentagon correspondent Courtney Kube. So, Court, I'm glad to have you on with this. Talk about the reasoning that you're hearing from officials on why the Pentagon wants to track these weapons, what the broader implications are here.
So there's a combination of reasons, Hallie. Number one, the most immediate one is the fact that they want to make sure that the weapons that are going to the Ukrainians are still being used, that there is some accountability for these billions of dollars that President Biden just mentioned the U.S. has been sending to Ukraine. But in addition to that, there's the political element. There is a large expectation that in January, when the Republicans take over the House of Representatives, that there's going to be a number of hearings and of calls for more accountability for these billions of dollars that are being sent there. So some in the Biden administration are just trying to get ahead of that. One of the ways that they have been doing this is that they sent a very small number of U.S. military personnel forward to Kyiv to begin this accountability mission. They have barcodes. There are scanners. Many of the weapons and the systems have barcodes on them. And they're just trying to get a sense of how much of the equipment, where it is, how it's, and whether it's being used, and whether there's been a lot of battlefield loss. Now, according to the officials who we spoke with, our colleague Carol Lee and I, is that there have only been a very small number of missions, only a handful, outside of Kyiv to actually track this accountability. So Pentagon and military leaders are now looking at ways to shore up this mission. That could include a very small addition to those U.S. military personnel who are already there in Kyiv. We're talking single digits here. It's a small number. But the goal here is to try to get a better sense of what exactly is happening with some of these weapon systems. Now, the officials said so far, all the accounts, all the information that they have is that the weapons, the equipment is getting to the front lines. It's getting to the Ukrainians for this fight against the Russians. But they just want to be able to say that they have done everything that they can to ensure that accountability for these billions of taxpayer dollars that are expected to continue in the coming months and potentially years, Hallie.